Well, that was disappointing. Welcome to the no contest for the very first time. This is my brand new combat channel, and UFC 329 just finished, and it couldn't have been more disappointing if it tried. We had the massive return of Connor McGregor, and it all ended within the first 3 seconds when he tries to throw a jumping switch kick and blow out his knee. I mean, you just couldn't have scripted a worse outcome than that. In this video, we're going to break down the entire main card and some of the prelims that I thought were pretty interesting. I also recorded my reactions to the main card and some of the big moments that happened, so I'll put them in here as well because some of them are honestly pretty funny, especially with the Sandhagen fight. Starting out, we have to talk about that main event. I mean, all of the build-up just for it to end within pretty much 5 seconds. I think Max is going to absolutely run through him, man. I think it's going to be kind of sad, but we'll see. I just don't have a good feeling about this. I want to believe that Connor can look something like he once did, but I just struggle, man. He threw 2 kicks and just slipped immediately. I think he's hurt, bro. No way. No way it's about to end like this. We get all of this build-up. I think it must have been literally the first kick he threw. I thought the walkout was awesome. It was setting the tone for what I thought was going to be a decent fight. Something interesting about that walkout was actually that it appeared that he probably came into the fight with an injury. They showed a bit of the footage after the fight had happened where he was hobbling as he was getting out of his shoes and actually getting into the cage. So that's not a great look. And honestly, when I saw that he had cut his hair into a mohawk, I kind of knew it was over. I think most people tipped Max Holloway to win. I was one of those. I thought he'd win within the first 3 rounds via a TKO fairly easily. But for it to end like that, it just is, yeah, pretty boring. I think Connor was just so eager to get the crowd on his side that he tried to throw something flashy so early on, and it ended up hurting him. I mean, a jumping switch kick straight out of the gate ends up blowing his knee out. What else can you say? And just to touch on Holloway quickly, I didn't love his post-fight interview. I mean, calling for the third fight immediately kind of just shows that he's very money hungry for that fight, as you would be, but there's a time and a place to call for it, and I don't know if that was the right moment. And yeah, it just sucks because we had this entire build-up. We had been waiting 2 years pretty much for Connor to come back. We thought it was going to be Michael Chandler. It ended up being Holloway. So for the 2 years of build-up to be gone inside 10 seconds is just unfortunate, man. What I think is next for Connor is retirement. I do not think that another return will hit the same. I don't think his body can handle it, it seems. He's had a leg break against Dustin. He's now blown out his knee again against Max. He's obviously just an injury-prone fighter. He hasn't been in the cage for 5 years, and yeah, I think he's done now. On to the co-main event now, which pretty much ended up being the main event, really, because it was the last fight that we actually got. Paddy destroyed BSD. Aggressive start from BSD, but this is why I predict the Paddy, man. You don't just shoot like that. I told you, man! I told you! Don't just blatantly shoot on this guy. Like, what was BSD thinking? That's insane. You can't just shoot on him like that, man. That's dumb. Before the fight, I predicted that Paddy would win in either round 1 or round 2 via submission. His ground game for me is world class, one of the best in the UFC, and BSD just fights in such a crazy, chaotic style that I just thought he would leave something exposed, his neck and arm, something like that, and Paddy would just latch onto it and submit him. And that is exactly what happened. However, I did not expect that to be 20 seconds into the fight when BSD just lunges forward for a lazy double leg, leaving his head and neck fully exposed, and yeah, the rest is history. It is honestly one of the lowest IQ moments I have seen in the UFC. You are in the co-main event of a Connor McGregor numbered card, not pay-per-view anymore, a numbered card, and you shoot a takedown like that against a guy you know is a jiu-jitsu ace, a ground game specialist. There is no way that in any part of his training camp, he was shooting a takedown like that with his neck exposed so much. I don't know whether it was because BSD didn't respect Paddy's ground game, or maybe people are surprised that Paddy did it so easily. But for me, I thought BSD was going to keep it as tight as he could on the feet and stay away from any sort of grappling. But shout outs to Paddy Pimblett. He has become even more of a star now. And let's talk about that walkout. There are very few fighters nowadays that have an impact with their walkout like Paddy does. I think you had Connor in the main event. His walkout was very good as well. You have Ilya with his walkout. Colby Covington's walkout, as much as people don't like him, is pretty awesome. And Paddy, he might just have the best walkout in the UFC now. As for what's next for Paddy, I think it is going to be a matchup with Arman Tsarukyan. I mean, they'll have a number one contender fight. If Gaethje doesn't retire and wants to defend the belt, that will most likely be against Charles Oliveira. So in the meantime, while that is made, I think Paddy versus Arman makes all the sense in the world for that number one contender fight. And then Benoit Saint-Denis, he is going to have to rebuild after that one. That was a very disappointing performance, and I think he'll know that. I don't know whether the nerves got to him and he just shot a nervous takedown or something, but yeah, he's going to have to rebuild. Then we had Corey Sandhagen get defeated by Mario Bautista in what I considered a pretty big upset. Coming into the fight, I had Corey Sandhagen winning this one on decision 29-28, and it was close, but Mario Bautista definitely did enough to win. I thought Mario Bautista did a really good job in solving the tricky puzzle that is Corey Sandhagen. He does a lot of stance switches, a lot of feints, and Mario did really well to keep himself composed and land those big shots when needed. Round one was an interesting one. Corey buzzed him about 40 seconds in with a left hook, and I thought, oh man, are we about to see a Corey Sandhagen masterclass? However, that was not the case, and Mario actually looked really nice and composed on the feet. He surprised me a lot. And then obviously at the end of round one, the main talking point, he got a submission, a leg lock, knee bar kind of thing, and it obviously compromised Sandhagen's leg massively. But in the second round, Corey didn't let it affect him that much, it seemed. He was holding his ground, landing the better shots, and he clearly took round two. But then into round three, I thought Mario Bautista needed a really good round just to cement his win, and this happened. Mario Bautista now, it's round three. He's going to have to come out very aggressive and look for a finish on Corey Sandhagen, which is going to be real tough to do. Oh! Oh, no way! No way! No, the timing. Oh my god, the timing of what I just said. Yes, Mario Bautista nearly finished the fight in round three, rocked Corey really badly. Just as I said, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Mario Bautista is going to have himself a very big fight coming up, and he deserves it. What a performance. Then we had Brandon Royval taking on Loney Kavanagh. I predicted Brandon Royval to win this by decision 29-28 again, purely just because I thought he would outwork Loney Kavanagh, put the pace on him, and drown him with cardio once again. Big elbows. Royval, man, he is ferocious in there. Oh, big right hand. Woo! Man, that was a big shot. That was a massive shot. We're going to see where Loney's gas tank is, I'll tell you that. He's going to have to work really hard in the third round. Does get the takedown. I mean, after getting rocked, like, majorly, he's going to end this round with a lot of success. This pace is why I did think Royval was going to win the fight. But, man, he got rocked badly. Royval's got him. Oh, Royval's hurt him. Royval's hurt him. Oh, my gosh. Royval's smiling. There's the tap. And he's out. He's put to sleep. Man. Wow. Brandon Royval, man. The reason I picked Royval leading into this fight is because against Charles Johnson, when Loney Kavanagh was pushed back and put under a big pace, he crumbled. I know people will look at that Brandon Moreno fight and say, oh, look, he went 5 rounds. But that was on Loney Kavanagh's terms. This fight, for me, I always thought that Brandon Royval was going to push his own pace no matter what. I mean, he is tough. He ran through some shots in that fight and still kept on going. As for Loney, I mean, he is so young. I think he can rebuild and learn a lot more from this fight. We saw how good he was after his last loss against Charles Johnson. He came out and smoked Moreno in Mexico City. So he's still got a long way to go, but he absolutely can get to a world-class level and possibly become a future champion. Then we had Bobby Green versus Terrence McKinney, and man, I thought Terrence McKinney was going to win this one by knockout in the first round, and it ended up being King Green. With the Terrence McKinney fight, you know what you were getting. He is either winning in round one by a knockout or a submission, or he is losing in round one by a knockout, and the former happened. He lost via knockout after such a good start as he normally does, Bobby Green was able to weather the storm, which I honestly didn't think he was going to be able to do. He came back, landed some really nice shots, and got the finish. Say what you want about Terrence McKinney, but I will always say he is one of, if not the most exciting fighter in the UFC. And Bobby Green, what a performance, because I didn't think he was going to be able to walk through the pressure that he did against Terrence McKinney. He just keeps on proving everyone wrong. He's nearly 40 years old. He has his hands down. You think those reaction times would be depleting a little bit, but man, he's on a 4 or 5 fight win streak now. The guy is on a tear. The featured fight of the prelims was Robert Whittaker versus Nikita Krylov, and Robert Whittaker got the round 3 knockout, broke Nikita Krylov's jaw, and showed that he is really there to play at 205. Before we talk about Robert Whittaker's performance, I also just want to talk about the commentary and how poor it was tonight. For me, I wish there was a no commentary option, that you could just get the sounds of the fight, you could hear the corners, you could hear the shots land, rather than have to listen to Theo Von, Dean Thomas, who I don't mind, and some random American football guy that I've never heard of as an Australian. I don't know who that was. But why, in the middle of a fight between Robert Whittaker, the former middleweight champion, a big fight making his 205 debut, have we got them popping up and shrinking the fight down? It makes no sense. Let me watch the fight with no commentary. Because also, the amount of times they mention Nikita Krylov's size is ridiculous. Yes, he's in there against Robert Whittaker, a former welterweight and middleweight champion. Of course he's going to be bigger. But they were acting like Robert Whittaker didn't just put on a masterclass against Nikita Krylov and that he almost struggled. He barely got touched, alright? So I just would love Paramount if you would put in a no commentary option, because it gets a little bit tiring at times. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Robert Whittaker's performance now. He looked really quick at 205, and he carried the pop still. I mean, he broke the guy's jaw. And for his first showing at 205, I think that is a pretty good start. Once he gets used to the weight a little bit more, has another training camp at that weight under his belt, I think he'll be much better in the next one. But you could see in there, Nikita Krylov could just not deal with Robert Whittaker's hand speed at all. It was too quick, too sharp, too fast, and he got it done. We also had Gable Steveson making his debut, one of the hottest prospects we've ever seen in the heavyweight division, and he looked pretty good for me. I think people forget that that was the guy's 4th ever MMA fight, not UFC fight, 4th MMA fight ever. He's an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling, and he didn't use any of it. He won the fight on the feet, which is impressive. You could tell he had been training with John Jones because those teep kicks showed through really nicely, and they were a big factor in him getting the job done. And his opponent, Elijah Ellison, also did show up to fight. He didn't back down and just crumble immediately. He did give a fight to Steveson, but it was not enough. And then Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez. Is anyone surprised? I personally am not. At this stage, Cody Garbrandt, he's done all that he needs to do in the sport of MMA. As soon as he tries to take a step up to these guys that are a lot quicker than him, bigger than him, and have a bit more power, I think he's going to really struggle now. And that showed. He came out looking pretty decent, I will say, but it almost woke Yanez up. And as soon as Yanez started to put his combinations together, it was all over for Cody. He got rocked once, and that was kind of the beginning of the end. So there we have it. UFC 329 is all wrapped up. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. If you could subscribe to this new channel, that would be greatly appreciated. As I said before in the intro, it is my first ever video, and I hope to grow this into something much more. Hope you enjoyed.